Hey, I'm Weekend Gabe, and you're checking out Weekend at Gabe's, and thanks for checking out this latest episode. While you're here, also follow us on these social medias at Weekend Gabe, at Weekend at Gabe's, and also at The Real Sam Crane. Thanks for checking us out.
We have a bit of an R&B and soul night feel to it. It is a pleasure to introduce a young voice. She was born in Memphis, Tennessee, moved to Louisville, Kentucky, found her way here in Chicago, attending Roosevelt University to get her education on. She joins us now, Jaz Moore, here on Weekend at Games. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. How are you guys?
Doing
Great.
good.
Where are you? Because the ambiance, the background is really cool. Well, what's going on?
I'm in my room, y'all. Drinking some wine.
That's the right way to attack this show. I just
And
gotta
listen,
say.
that's all I do. Is sit in my room, write music, and drink wine.
I, I was about to say it has like a bit of a Rapunzel feel to it. Like you get outside, get some vitamin D from the sun. Well,
I
you
do. I
know,
love going outside.
because like all your Instagram photos are like either on a beach or in your room. So I'm like,
Yes,
are
and
those?
that's about it.
And that's how she likes to keep it. Hell
I'm
yeah.
not. I'm not mad at that option at all. I wish I had that choice. I do not. Um, But thanks for joining us. First off, the new record "Say It" is fantastic. It's
Thank
so
you.
enjoyable.
Thank
I
you.
really miss, and this is no shade to the modern day R&B, quote unquote R&B singer of
Yeah.
today, but I really miss records that don't have hip hop beats behind the music, and it
Mm,
feels like this to me is just such a great vocal a performance by you that it
thank
brings
you.
back that nostalgia that I always appreciate from
Thank you.
authentic soul music.
Oh,
So
thank you.
yeah, absolutely. So talk about like let's just jump in there real quick. You have soundtrack from First and 15. Like talk about working with him on this. Well, what was that collaboration like?
Track, he's like my bestie. Like I just we I met him a couple years ago, like leaving the studio. And this was when I like first started like really actually recording. And so this was probably like in 2018, 2019. And like I met him, and he like always tells me like when I met him, I was like, I want some beats from you. And he was like, who's this girl? Like I want this. And then he reached out to me again. Like he just followed me on Instagram and we stayed like connected. And he reached out to me like in October, November, and was like, hey, I like seen like a few of the other songs that you put out. Like you should come around, like let's link. And so I went to the studio sometime in like November
Yeah.
and I met him and like all the guys, and it's just been like a wrap from there. Like we connected so like instantly, and our personalities just like meshed really well. And like the way that he produces and the way that I write are just like a match made in heaven. And like I just feel so grateful to be working with him. He's a godsend for real. Like he just
Mm.
he just gets how to like make good music. And I'm glad that you said something about like my music feeling nostalgic, because that's how I want it to feel. Like I want to
Sure.
bring back that like 90s R&B like feel back to music, and having like live instruments played on music. And it's
Right.
yeah, it's so fun. It's amazing.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Talk about the writing process for you then from there. You've got a catalog going back to 2019 on streaming services. I think I saw on your Instagram that you wrote that first song in 2018 actually. So your
Yeah.
music career extends back a little bit.
Yeah.
And you've written about all kinds of topics.
Yeah.
Do you find a well actually let's start at a basic level because you also write poetry
I do.
as well as music. So where did that sort of love of words come from an
Um,
early age? You've described in other interviews as sort of an escape, and speak a little bit to that.
I've always like I've always wrote. I had a very like rough and um abusive like childhood growing up, and so like in order to get my feelings out, in order to like express how I was feeling, I started journaling. I always had a journal, I always had a diary. I have so many journals around my house. Um, I write prayers, like affirmations, manifestations, everything in my journals. And then at some point that like translated into writing like little songs. Like I always sang growing up. My mom sang, my grandma sang, my grandpa sang. So like everybody in my family kind of like it just kind of passed down and like I never shut up. Like I just always was like singing, talking, dancing, whatever. And so um I started writing music, and then at some point, I want to say when I was maybe a senior in high school, I started writing poetry, and then I published a book. I think in 2017, around there. I don't know. The years just kind of go.
But
So I published a book, and it's so healing to me, like to be able to like express how I'm feeling on paper. Like I feel like it's so important to be able to put how you feel into words. And for me, it just kind of came naturally. Like everybody in my family writes. Like my brother writes poetry, my sisters write poetry. Like and it just I think it's like generational, but I also think that it just comes from like feeling. Um, the other day at the studio, I was talking to this guy, and we were both talking about how like when we write music and we write poetry, like it just feels like God is like speaking through us. And that's
mm,
how I feel sometimes. Like when I write, it's just so like healing and it's powerful and it's I feel the best when I'm writing and when I'm creating. And so like I try to do that as much as I can so I can feel the best as much as I can.
yeah.
Word. And off the back of that, it seems really natural to you. Do you ever get that fear of being vulnerable? Because it's intimate. Your subject matter is intimate for sure.
Yeah, like I feel like I've always been naturally very like vulnerable and open. Um, but it is scary. Like it's scary for so long, like I was afraid to like share certain parts of myself, and like poetry was something that like, but I like to push myself. Like if I feel scared to do something, that kind of makes me want to like do it more, like so. For me, like if something is like scary, like I'm gonna practice it at home. I'm gonna get comfortable with it at home, and then I'm gonna like share it. But ultimately I feel like I've gotten to the point to where like I don't make music for anyone but myself. And like if I like something, if I enjoy something, that's why I'm making it. And so like ultimately like it's not about is this person gonna like this? Is this person gonna think anything of this? It's like for me and myself. And if people gravitate to it, then it's like that's a line for me. That's how I feel.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you a little bit because I think this ties into the mental health component that you have a background in and what you've
Mhm.
been studying when you're at Roosevelt Arts in Clinical Mental Health. So does how does the writing component help support and improve your own mental health?
It's just like I said earlier, it's just so healing. Like it's able to like I'm able to get those thoughts that are like weighing me down, those heavy thoughts that are weighing me down, those heavy feelings that are weighing me down, and I'm able to like process that. Because I think that like a lot of times when I find myself like depressed or like super anxious, it's because I'm holding a lot in and I'm not
Sure.
expressing how I'm feeling, or I'm not talking to anyone. Or that's why like therapy and mental health that's is so important for all of us, because we all have our shit that we go through. We all have issues that we go through, and we need an outlet to express that. And like for me, it just became writing and music. And I think that music is like probably one of the most important things on earth. Like just if you play a song around like a child that's like can't even talk yet, they're gonna get up and dance. They're gonna have an emotional reaction to that song.
Mm,
That to me, like my nephew just turned 1. And so like he listens to my
Yeah.
music and he likes to like wiggle and dance around and walk around, and like just seeing that makes me tear up, because it's like to be able to be a vessel of like that type of artistry is a blessing, because like it's so important. It's so important. Like music's everywhere.
Yeah.
sure.
Talk about talk about that experience. You spoke about your nephew. It seems like that experience kind of changed you a little bit. You know, it seems to have brought a little bit more urgency into your life, a little bit more drive. Talk about how it really has impacted you, because I can see it opened something up.
It did. So okay, I was gonna say I'm trying not to get too deep, but I'm not. I'm not. I'm gonna get deep. So
Hey, that's what
Let's
we like
go.
to hear.
Hey, we got
almost
a question.
almost almost 3 years to this date, I lost a baby. And me and my siblings are very, very close. And so when that was a very hard experience for me to get through because I was very excited to be a mom. Like I had prepared for everything. Like I was excited. And so when my sister got pregnant, when I tell you I took on the second mom role, like that is my baby. Like I love him so much. He has brought so much joy to like everyone in my family's life. Like I said, like I had a very, very hard childhood. All of us did. And so over the last like 2 years, we've had so much healing and like change in our lives. And he has definitely like brought us together in ways that like he's only one, so he doesn't even know, but like he's a light. He's a light to everybody, and it pushes me so much harder to like want to like succeed and to live in my purpose and to just like be exactly who I'm meant to be on this earth, for
Right.
myself, also for him. Like I want him to see that like anything's possible. I want him to see that like it's important to chase your dreams. That I want him to see that he can be whoever he wants to be and he'll be accepted and loved regardless. And so he's just changed so much about me. He's made me softer, more compassionate, more loving, more open. So it's just, I love him. I like to talk about it all day.
Hell yeah, hell yeah.
That's
Um,
fantastic.
Go ahead, Gabe.
No, I was gonna say, like, you've been when did when we're trying to do a little bit of background on you, Jazz, but I really want to jump into like when was that moment you decided to venture into creating music? Well, because you mentioned like the I'm gonna say troubled childhood, but the difficulty of your childhood, and then you also had you were also a victim of a sexual assault and went through a lot of mental health areas that you talked a little bit about. So, what was music always part? I know you mentioned it being part of your house, but like,
Yeah.
when did you sort of start to take that seriously? And was that also a coping mechanism for you as well, because it incorporated the writing and then the adaptation of using love as a fuel to overcome a lot of your hurt and pain?
Yeah. So like I was saying earlier, like I always sang. When I was in high school, like I was in every choir that you could imagine me to be in. I always like when my parents would leave, like to go to work and they would leave us at home, like I would go sing and make up songs, make up dances. Um, but as far as like recording music and like actually taking the chance on like chasing that dream
Sure.
again is probably not until 2018. Like the thing that I say about music that I realized is that like I know that I was meant to do it because I when I first moved here, I came here for school. And so like I really didn't come here to do music. And it found me. Like I worked at Nike, Chicago downtown when I first moved here, and like there was a guy there named Demetrius, and we became like really good friends. And he had like seen on my Instagram, like, oh, I didn't know you sang. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, you can really sing. And I was like, yeah, whatever. He actually grew up with Soundtrack. And so he was the one that like kind of introduced us and was like, no, you need to
Sure.
like make music. And so I kind of feel like it found me, like it pushed me into it. And actually like just dropped out of school. I hated going to school. I literally hated taking the train. Why am I doing this? And so I just stopped going. But
Wow.
yeah, I just kind of feel like it found me. And like every opportunity that I've had has been so natural and effortless. Like even with soundtrack coming back into my life, it was just like I was chilling on the couch and like one day he was like, "Yo, you need to come to the studio," and it was like I'm there, like, and ever since then, it's just been like I'm at the studio every weekend, and he jokes with me a lot, like Track makes fun of me all the time. So he's like, "You'll come to the studio when it's not even your session," and it's true, like any chance that I get to be in that scene and like get to know people and like network and learn and grow like in my art is like I'm there. And it's been so fun and I feel like a little kid again. Like I feel like I kind of lost my not my love for it. I think I was just really scared to do it because I was never
Sure.
like told that I could do it. It was always like a joke, you know. Like
Hmm.
I would be like, I want to be a singer. I want to, and my parents were like, go to school. You know, it was just always like,
For sure.
you can't do that. Like that's impossible. And now it feels very possible. So
Yeah.
I'm excited for like everything that like is gonna come. You know.
On Tuesday night, we spoke with some artists about how the public version of themselves differs from the personal version of themselves. So
Hmm.
you are obviously Jaz Moore, but on Instagram you go by Love More. And in our pre-production meeting today, our production intern pointed out on one of your videos, uh, Interlude, the official music video with DJ Love,
Yeah.
the lighting differences between you when you are outside with the guy, and then the separate shots when you are in your bed alone, and it's a different lighting, it's a different
Yeah.
vibe, it's more intimate. Um, do you feel that way when in life in general, like the version of you at home is someone, and then once you outside, once you in the studio, once it's business, it's somebody else, or
Um,
is it very much the same thing?
no, I feel like there's so many layers to me. Like
Mm,
I I the one thing that I love about myself is that I don't box myself in, and so like in different spaces I am different people, but like there's still that same like freeness to me, you know? Like I will wear this outside, you know, like and
yeah.
it's like when I think about my future like shows and things like that, like I try to bring like that part of myself, that like the most private part of myself, I try to bring that in every like situation that I'm in. And that's intentional because like I want people to like feel that. So like in the video, when I am like in that like element, it's on purpose because I want people
Yeah.
to like be invited into like that part of me and like
Mm,
you know I love the vibey lights and stuff. It makes me feel good and it makes me happiest. And when I'm outside, I like to typically be in the sun in nature and like those are just all different parts of me. So not really. I'm pretty much like you see what you get and like
yeah.
and
But it's unique though, right?
yeah,
Like,
and as you get to know me, like you're gonna like realize that like who I am is like it's just so many different parts to me that like and I think that it's a fun part of me that like you get to like there's
yeah.
always something new. My friends joke around with me all the time. They're like, I don't even like it's crazy because like they'll be like I was a D1 athlete and like my friends are like they will literally be like, what? Like I literally forget because I'm also so girly and sensual and vulnerable and intimate, but also like I was his athlete and I was a coach and I taught and I'm a teacher. And it's just like I'm so many different things and like I love that. I feel like we only get one life and I feel like everything that I love to do, I should do.
Hell
So
yeah.
I do it.
Absolutely.
Well, I don't think we're familiar with that. So tell us, like, what sport or what were you in? What were you teaching?
So I ran track in high school and I ran track at the University of Louisville for like 2 years. I never ran in the meet because I hurt my leg. Like I was in a boot, which is really funny. Like if you know me, it's just really funny to see me in a boot but like I dress that boot up. I would have the boot on, my little boot skirt.
Fashion tips weekend, Gabe. Fashion tips.
I've never been injured before yet, so I don't have anything to decorate.
Hey, you heard it here first. If you got a boot on, wherever you at, sprain your ankle, do whatever. Dress that thing up.
No show over here. Like I'm wearing the boot and I'm gonna be cute. But I also was a track coach for this AAU team called Soaring Eagles. I used to run for it when I was in high school. And when I got older, my younger brother and sister also ran for it. And so naturally, since they were going to practice, I was like, fuck it, I'll be the track coach. And like, I'm one of those people who are like, you can do whatever you want in this world. So like the kids, they like hated me and loved me. Cause like my brother like hated me being his track coach. Like, cause I was a little bit crazy. I was a little crazy coach. Like they would hate my workouts, but we went to nationals. And they competed. So, but that, and then I work at this like residential children's center, and it's a therapeutic day school, and I basically like work in the classroom, kind of emotionally regulating like the kids and their like, you know, emotions. they all kind of like. They all have traumatic upbringings, or they have just like mental health issues that are like super hard and difficult for them to deal with. And so like I kind of just sit in the class and like help them with their work. I help with like the teachers and just like different staff to like, you know, help our day run as smoothly as possible. And it usually doesn't run that smooth. But,
No, not at all.
No, not at all. But it's the most rewarding job that I think I've ever had, because those kids love me and I love those kids, and it's just it's nothing like it. I can't even like describe what I do. So
Hell yeah. Well, before we let you go, we like to have a little bit of fun on the show, ask a few fun questions. So I'm gonna go fairly quickly because we're running out of time. If you could be a flower, I've seen flowers are a huge part of your brand. If you could be any flower, what would it be?
I mean, obviously, probably a jasmine flower. I mean, might as well. If not, I would be a tulip. I like tulip.
Okay, word. We also noticed that you tweeted today, somebody invite me to sing at their wedding. So, 2 questions on that. Mm-hmm. 1, what is in your set list?
Okay.
And number 2, whose wedding is it? If you could do anybody, anywhere, whose wedding is it?
Oh goodness. So I would probably sing. I would probably sing "Make You Feel My Love." I sang that in high school a lot. Or I would sing "Best Part." I sang that at one of my friends' weddings a few years ago. "Best Part" by Daniel Caesar and her. Right. And if I could sing at anybody's wedding, it would be. I'm gonna sound extra, but any of my best friends, honestly.
Okay, word.
Honestly, I love them.
I think I was gonna judge you if you said Rihanna and ASAP Rocky. You know, I was like, that's low hanging fruit.
I love Rihanna, so I'm trying to be supportive. I don't know. Congratulations to them.
Fair enough.
I got one quick question before we get you out of here. And part of your IG, you just had a frame that said list of priorities in 2022. Me.
Yeah.
Number 1, that's it. What priorities do you have for yourself? Goals. We talked with Leon Rogers last week, and he has a dream board of goals that he sets for himself every several months. Do you have a board, or do you have a list of things that you want to work on to either better yourself or to for goals for your career? Well, what are those items?
So most importantly, I think one of my like main goals is to like be very present. I feel like I've let so many like moments slip because I'm not living in the present moment, and like that is just something that I want to get better at. It's just like enjoying life more and just being here. Also just like staying like inspired, staying busy, trying to be the best version of myself, and also healing and like forgiveness of myself, of other people that have hurt me, and like just I'm gonna turn 30 this year, and so like I want to be in a space.
Yeah,
I want
Gabe
to be
wants
in
to
a
talk about
space where like I feel very like proud of myself, and I feel that right now. But like I really want to get into like a space that I'm just very present and open to like receiving and like very loving, and so that's really what I want to do this
it.
year.
Hell yeah. Hell
Uh,
yeah.
one real last question. It's Women's Month. Who are some of your inspirations, strong women in your life, or women that you look up to or have been mentored by? Name them all.
Okay,
Name every one of them.
my mother, my sisters, both of my sisters, my best friends, Tyra, Diamond, fucking Queen, Naya. The list. I have so many wonderful women in my life. Like I can't even like. It would take me all day, and I'm so grateful for that. But like every
Word.
single woman that I call a friend inspires me constantly because they just keep going and they are always there for me. They're always supporting me and loving me. And that is like one of the biggest blessings I could have ever asked for in life. Like, truly.
Hell
So,
All right.
yeah. Hell yeah.
Sounds good. Say It is the new single from our guest tonight, Jaz Moore. Thank you so much for joining us. You can find the single on all digital streaming platforms. Go put it into your life. It'll be the best decision you made today. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you giving us your time. We hope to hear from you soon. Let's get that album going. I'm just saying.
oh, it's
Last thing I'll say.
coming. It's coming. I have a project coming in April. So, look out.
That's a Weekend at Games exclusive.
If you guys are in Chicago, I have a show coming up with this group called TDK next Thursday. It starts at 9 at the Hidden Cove. So if you're out, come through, shoot through, say hi.
Hell
All right,
yeah.
we'll do. All right, we love it. Send us the flyer, and we'll definitely be happy to share it
I
out.
definitely will, yeah, for sure.
We got
Please
you.
do.
All right, Jaz Moore joining us here on Weekend Again. Have a great night. We appreciate it.
All right, thank you. Bye, y'all.
Have a good
All
one.
right, that's one half of our R&B Soul Night, Jaz Moore. I love her. I love everything, like her spirit,
Yeah,
her energy.
you know who put me on, and I should shout him out before we end the segment. TG Fee, who we had on a long time ago, posted her on his story, and I thought to myself, maybe I should just go check this out. And I'm glad I did, because what a lovely human being, what lovely music. Our interns have been saying they don't really like some of the music that we've featured here on the show, but they liked it this week, and that is a testament to both of the artists that are on the show tonight. So shout out to Jaz Moore.
Shout out to TG Fee, dunking on fools, rapping on fools, and throwing assists to Weekend at Games. All right, I like it.
Hell yeah, hell yeah.
Hey, I'm Weekend Gabe. Thanks for checking out this latest episode of Weekend at Gabe's. Click on any of the links swirling around my head and also hit the subscribe button while you're here. Thanks for checking out us here on YouTube.